What is going on, everybody? Back with another video. Today I'm going to be doing a video response to asilaydying1984. He tagged me in his recent video of one folder for everything. So I'm going to go and do this response here. So where do I really begin? Because I have a lot of folders and it's kind of hard to choose, you know, when you got so many folders with so many different options on it. So what I did is I decided to just go with a good starting point, which is my actual EDC, which is the Spyderco Para 2 right here. Now again, if you guys disagree with me, please just leave the comments below or make your own video response, but these are just my own opinions, alright? So now, the Para 2 is awesome because it has the 4-way reversible pocket clip, got excellent G10, very grippy, extremely ergonomic. You know, you can choke up or hold it back here. Great for self-defense, great for food prep and cutting, and you know, because of the full flat ground. Great for stabbing if you do need the piercing part of it because of the kind of spear point, and has a slight belly that aids in cutting. And as Neptune knives have demonstrated, has an excellent compression lock that pretty much holds up to a lot of abuse. Now, the one thing that really killed this knife for me in the everything folder category is the fact that I dropped this knife once, and look, the tip is gone now. It's completely just broken off. Now, so basically, if I was to need this for everything, which means it could be anything from food prep to self-defense to all the way to bushcrafting, this knife is not going to be a great pry tool. I mean, I can't pry with this thing. I mean, if I just dropped it and it broke the tip off, imagine if I sat there to try and pry with the blade. It's not going to work. Well, S30V is a very good steel. The fact that this knife tapers down to a thin point does not bode well for the everything. So unfortunately and sadly, I had to take this knife out of the running. While this is my very favorite for EDC, this is perfect for what I need it now for, but not for every other needs. So I'm going to show you guys some other knives that I considered, and then I'm going to weed it down to the one knife that that I actually chosen for this video response. So the other knife I considered is the Zero Tolerance 0301. The awesome knife, again, a reversible pocket clip, good ergonomics, and it's got some good jimping, very awesome blade, got the nice recurve with lots of belly for slicing. But the only one thing that really killed this knife in this category for me is the fact that this thing weighs 8.6 ounces. I mean, this thing is heavy. It's a heavy beast, and if it's an everything knife, you're probably expected to carry it on you all the time for, you know, everything. The weight of this alone is going to kill it out, take it out of the running category. I really like this knife a lot, but at 8.6 ounces, a little bit too heavy to be carrying for everything. And then I thought, well, maybe want to pick a more lighter weight folder, but more stout. So I took out the Extrema Ratio Fulcrum 2. Now this knife has a lot of stuff going for it. All right, it's got the reversible pocket clip, an excellent thick back lock, and of course you can see the blade is a full 6mm thickness. It's got the combo edge. This part's good for slicing rope. This part is good for other stuff. Now, there's two things about this knife that did not win in this contest for one folder for everything. Is the fact that it's a tanto blade, or tanto style, which means that while it's great for chopping and prying, it's not good for any kind of cutting task where you need to make this kind of like, you know, motion right here, because it doesn't have the upswept belly to you know, account for that. Also, because the handles are aluminum, unless you're wearing rubber gloves, this knife is rather slippery. So if your hands are wet, this knife's not going to stay in your hands. So that took this knife out of the running. Although it had to, it's great though, because it's thick, it's heavy built. I mean, it's very tough. There's a YouTuber that actually took this knife through its paces by stabbing through wooden tables with it, which is very impressive. But only if you can hold on to the knife, and that's really important if you're going to use it for everything. So I considered the Boker Titan Defender lightweight as well. It's awesome because it's really thick, heavy duty. It's got a nice thick blade, although it does kind of thin to the tip here because of the dual swedges taken out of it. It has titanium liners, technically a frame lock because it's so thick, with just some micarta overlays on there. It's just awesome, all right? You think, oh, this might win. No, not really, because for some reason, I have no clue why, this micarta is like by far the slipperiest micarta I've ever held on a knife. I had like SC Rat 3s, and I had my SC5, which are actually has grippier micarta. This, for some reason, this is really smooth in comparison. In fact, it does not have any jimping on the ramp, does not have any jimping underneath the notch here. While it is ergonomic, I don't really feel like my hand would be able to stay up here for any kind of, you know, draw cuts or anything. The one cool thing about this knife, or the main cool thing about this knife, is this nice upswept edge coupled with a saber grind to allow more thickness on the top, and, you know, good for cutting tasks. But because the knife is so slippery to hold on to, it knocked this knife out of the running as well. The next knife I consider would be the Cold Steel Recon 1. What can I say about this knife that hasn't already been said by every other YouTuber on here? And also fact that Cold Steel demonstrated the awesomeness of the triad lock. You know, this thing was a beast. You can't, I don't even think there's a way you can make this lock fail, you know, under normal, even hard usage and brutal usage as well. This knife is great. It's got the great G10, and when I mean great G10, I mean this stuff will tear your pockets up. This stuff is so hard cut, you know, and it's on both sides, and so you're definitely assured a very a secure grip on this knife, with or without gloves, or even if your hands are dry or wet. All right, and now the problem with this knife is the fact that I do not have the clip point version. While this knife is great and I have used it before, as you can see on here, you know, the coating does wear off, but you know, it's not, the Teflon is not the greatest coating on the blade. I mean, this would be awesome if it was DLC. But the fact that even though this is a tanto, which means the thickness goes all the way to the edge, but because of the tanto, it suffers the same as the other tanto knife here, and the fact that it's great for chopping and prying, but it's ultimately not going to be great for any kind of you know, kind of draw cuts where you need to do this little sawing motion here, because there's no belly to the blade, you know. So that took this knife out of the running. Now again, if I had the clip point version, it'd probably win this contest right off the bat. The next knife I considered was the Zero Tolerance 0551. Awesome knife, you know, got the belly, it's got the four-way reversible pocket clip, uber thick titanium lock, and a very thick blade, you know, so it should be a very tough knife, right? The only thing I didn't like about this knife is the fact that it has a smooth titanium side. Now I know that may not matter too much, but if I was to require or if I was to have one folder for absolutely everything, I would like to have this side, you know, both sides, I mean, to have a very grippy material. So if this side had like a thin G10 overlay with high retention capabilities, like this side on the Zero Tolerance 0551, I think this would be a sure winner. But because I only feel grip on this side and none on the titanium side, I decided to go with other folders. So here we go. This is the Strider SMF. Well, there's a great folder and been demonstrated a lot on YouTube to be just that, like, awesome. Aside from having a very smooth titanium side, I cannot find a single spot to hold on to this knife where it does not poke into my palm, the palm of my hand. If I hold it back here like this corner keeps on poking into my palm. Even if I hold it like this or like this, and couple of fact, the pocket clip, no matter where I hold it, like up here, it's still, see, the pocket clip is poking into the farthest part of my palm here. If I hold it back here, it's poking in the middle of my palm. There really is no comfortable spot. Left-handed is perfectly fine, but I'm not a left-handed user of knives. I'm a right-hander, and the fact that you can't reverse this pocket clip but just take it off, you know, but then that would just lessen one functionality of the knife. And when I'm kind of consider a knife for this category, it has to be, everything has to be on the knife in order for it to win. So, but I will say it's very thick, it's very nice, good jimping, and very awesome for the opening oval, because that's one less thing that could possibly go wrong with it. I mean, you know, thumb studs can come off, you know, or a thumb disc, you know, just one less part to maintain and also add weight. So, but unfortunately, this folder is not it. I'll go and set that off to the side. Now we're coming down to my last two, and this is the one is a very close second. All right. Now, let me say why. This is an Emerson CQC15, one of my favorite folders ever, you know, aside from the Para 2. The only reason the Para 2 beat this one out because it's a little bit smaller, lighter, and it's under the legal length limit for carry in my town. But this is awesome. Got the grippy G10 on both sides. Non-reversible pocket clip, but that's not a very huge deal. It's got the wave opening feature, which is nice. Thumb disc, you know, an extra part, but still ambidextrous. But the main feature of this is the recurve tanto, which is awesome. Very useful for pretty much everything. You know, you got the recurve and cutting ability. You got the tanto coupled with the saber grind that adds thickness, or all the thickness, to the very top edge. You know, just have a very strong knife. A thicker titanium locking side and a stainless steel liner on the other side, and just very awesome. But unfortunately, there's one knife that actually beat this knife out, and I'm going to show you that right now. Some of you guys may be screaming when I show you this, but the one knife that I would consider out of all these and out of all my other folders that is most useful for everything would be this. This is the 511 First Responder. Now, if you guys have watched my original review video on this, you know how much I was talking about it. I was raving about some of the awesome features of this. Now, why would I pick this knife out of all these other higher end folders? Okay, let me give you the reason why. Again, G10, fairly decently grippy on both sides. Reversible pocket clip for all 4 positions. Extremely thick. Jimping everywhere, and this is good jimping. When I say good jimping, I mean that this stuff hurts when you rub your hands across it like this. They didn't even bother the sand it down probably, because it's very grippy right here, and on the lock. And you can see how thick that lock is too. This is technically, to me, a frame lock because it's just so thick. These G10 are just overlays, really. It's got the S30V steel. It is made overseas though, so if that matters to you guys, then this would not be the knife for you. But it is S30V steel, combo edge, so you can cut rope with this part, and you got a nice plain edge with the belly to cut on this side. And it's got the spear point, kind of drop point, spear point style, which you can use for piercing. Saber grind, which means that pretty much, if not all, most of the thickness is all the way on the top here. Look how thick that is. This is a 4mm thickness. So basically, it's only 2mm thinner than the external ratio, but pretty much thicker than every other folder that's on this table right now. And no stupid swedges taking out the top. You know, it's just plain thick all the way to the tip. So very awesome. Got the ambidextrous oval opening hole here, so one less part to worry about, and completely ambidextrous, will not fail on you. And it's got the stainless steel strike plate on the back that you can use it as a pommel for self-defense, or if you have good hand-eye coordination, use it to knock a nail into wood if you really need it. You can pry with this. You can cut with this belly here with, you know, kind of a sawing motion if you needed to. All around, everything folder right here. The only drawback to this folder is just like the Striders, it doesn't have very good blade to handle ratio. In fact, if you look down here, they could probably easily just put another 5 centimeters on this blade, like a ½ inch on this blade, and you'd actually have a longer blade. But either way, it's got the choil up here where you can choke up and do fine cutting work right here. You can hold it back here for self-defense purposes, or for chopping if you need at the extra length. It has a really long handle, and just to show you what I mean by really long handle, an SMF you guys are pretty much familiar with. Look at this knife. It's basically just as long as the SMF, and the cutting length is pretty much about the same as the SMF, except that this knife is a lot easier and a lot more comfortable in my hands to hold on to. And for all you guys with the big meat hands, you know, this knife has enough handle real estate to cover all you guys with the larger hands. All right, good in the reverse, good in the forward grip. You know, again, ultimate everything folder right here. So if you guys have any questions, comments, please leave it below, or PM me. If you guys got your own opinions, or you got your other favorite folders, one folder for everything, please make a video response. I'm going to go and try and find someone to tag with this. And other than that, yeah, leave your comments below. Until next time, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take care.